Radio.com. Take over. Last mission. Final boss mode.
I guess on to our next topic. Now,
this is a good one. Y'all can start this one up. Let me indulge a little bit.
Yeah, let's get into the fuck nigga shit.
Yeah, in today's fuck nigga news, what was part confirmed like months after this fight has ended. Former heavyweight champion of the world Deontay Wilder has decided that he was going to let co-trainer Mark Breland go. So everyone knows that Mark Breland stopped the fight in the rematch with Wilder and Fury, and Wilder was like, why, and let me go out on my shield, I'm a warrior, all types of stuff like that. Even though by the end of the fight, Wilder was wobbling, bleeding, had nothing left, and Fury was now teeing, 270-pound man teeing off on him. You can't, and then everyone,
nigga, how are you gonna fucking complain about? Oh, he stopped it. Oh, like nigga, your jaw was looking like fucking Terrence and Phillip from South Park. Like,
facts.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then there was already rumors that it's like, that, Mark Breland and Wilder had it out, and and then he was kept out of the dressing room, all types of wild shit like that. Obviously there was a backlash against that, but just because the month they were in, it was Black History Month, so it wasn't like Wilder could go any further like that, because it would really look bad, if he got rid of his black trainer. This is one of the rare times that I'm actually on that wave. It's not, I don't get on that wave often, but regardless of that wave, Mark Breland did the right thing, because if you watch that fight, it wasn't like his other trainer JD's was actually giving him any real advice in his corner. You know what I'm saying? Really, to jab a little bit, go to his body, shit like that. Throw a fucking jab instead of quitting on it. Shit like that.
Yeah, but that's shit that needs to be said in the fucking gym while you training a nigga. Like, I shouldn't have to be telling you basics while the fucking fight heat of the moment is going on.
Yeah, no, and then
that's like saying, don't forget, man, when you throw that right hand, turn your fist over. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Now, and of course, if you've ever heard me talk about Wilder before, like, pretty much this was like, it was coming, like, something like this was coming. Because it was like, everyone was like, ooh, Wilder's the hardest puncher of all time. Wilder is better than Mike Tyson.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
that fuck nigga shit.
Yeah, there was a lot of nonsense, and of course, when I hear that, I'm like, obviously I doubled down on my stance, because I was just like, like, Wilder's not good. Like, he's really one-dimensional. People, like, you don't see what's going on, but niggas get blinded by the knockout. Surprisingly, it'd be those niggas that'd be like, he's one-dimensional, but Wilder is like, oh, he's really good. Yeah, he knocks people off one punch. Like, stupid shit, nigga. It's the stupidest shit in the world, And you see like this dude's boxing was really starting to come apart. Like, oh, you're not gonna. And then he got undressed in probably the worst way by the worst possible opponent that he could get undressed by. So here we are. He has to get rid of. And it's funny too, because Mark Breland is, as most people don't know, he's a former pro. He's probably the greatest amateur that America's ever produced, really. And that's
I can tell you, being a New Yorker in New York City, or Mark Breland is from, everybody in the boxing community, in the New York community, like, to this day, everybody that I've spoken to speaks very glowingly of Mark Breland. First of all, he's a very good dude, like just from a personal level, and just like everybody speaks very highly of him. Like, I go to the gym that's owned by fucking Superman, who fought Mark Breland, and even he speaks very well of Mark Breland. So everybody here that knows about this is very disappointed in Wilder. Very, to say the least.
Breland, Breland is, is part of one of the the greatest. He's one of the greatest amateurs. I mean, man was 110-1.
Clarissa Shields might have something to say about that.
Oh God, get the fuck out of here! I don't want to hear this shit.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I agree with y'all, but there's somebody probably sucking their teeth when they start listening to this shit. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, and of course, Mark Breland's probably was part of one of the greatest Olympic boxing team that the U.S. ever produced, the 1984 boxing team. Where he was a gold medalist, and then he was a good pro. I mean, he had 2 reigns as welterweight champion in the late 80s, early 90s.
The funny thing.
Go ahead.
The funny thing is, a lot of people consider his professional career to be a disappointment because he was expected to be like the next Sugar Ray Leonard, and he still had a decent career. But a lot of people still say it was a disappointment to what it could have been and what many people think it should have been.
Yeah.
I mean, he became a champion. I feel like, hey, if you an amateur champion, gold medalist, and you become a regular, and become a champion in pro. I mean, you've done enough for me. Like, you're great. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I can understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, but regardless, Mark did, he did accomplish a lot, as a fighter. So it's just like, I mean, dude has a wealth of knowledge. So it's kind of odd where Wilder gets rid of him but keeps JD's, and get this, he hires, of all people, Malik Scott.
Well, Malik Scott was already in his camp, working with him. It just, the thing is, Malik Scott got promoted to second voice instead of the third voice.
Yeah.
Because if it's JDS, then I think Breland, who is next, but it almost seemed like he was like a nigga in the background or some shit, the way they kind of acted about dude. And then you had Malik Scott, floating around in the same gym and working with him, but I don't know, like, if you're gonna I mean, we replacing niggas with
niggas that you knocked out.
We replacing Breland with damn Malik Scott, like.
Well, yeah, and for you, Johnny Come Latelys, the ones who got on Wilder's, hype train when he knocked out Stavern the second time. Wilder and Malik Scott fought, so a couple years before all that, in which Wilder won by a dubious first round knockout. And when I say dubious, you have to watch.
Yeah, a nigga took a dive, right?
Yeah.
I mean, one of those punches connected. I don't know if it was the one of those shots. I think landed decent. I just think it was one of those kind of stoppages where a guy just said, "Fuck it, I don't want to fight anymore," but he wasn't like out where he couldn't fight anymore. It was like almost like a Victor Ortiz knockout.
I was calling him Malik Selden after that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, you know what I mean, but I don't think no one wants to fake a punch with a nigga like Wilder, and when Mike Tyson hits you on top of the head and you fall and you don't take the greatest punch from Tyson and you still get dropped, you just kind of say, fuck it. Like, could have been one of those situations, but I don't want to call it a full-on dive. It's just one of those, I'd rather call it a quit than a fucking dive.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Either way, it was one of those fights where it's like, right.
But then Malik Scott showed his level because he couldn't beat Derek Chisora.
Yeah, no, he couldn't.
he had close fights with other people on his level, so you're talking about a mid-tier, a C-level heavyweight.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things. I mean, Malik Scott did have potential at one time. He
did. I'm not saying he's no scrub, I'm saying he has boxing skills, but I mean, like, it seemed like his voice was already louder than Breland's in that gym anyway.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be, and partly because I have a feeling that Malik Scott is more of a yes man than anything. Of
course he is. Yeah, he's definitely a yes man. The fuck out of here.
The nigga knock you out and he pay you to stay in the gym, you'd be a yes man too.
Yeah.
Well, no ring gang niggas and no yes man. We're just saying hypothetically.
Yeah, of course. But then this doesn't look good because, the third match in the trilogy is coming. It's coming at, in about, give or take, was it 2 or 3 months? They keep changing the date on this shit, but it's definitely coming soon.
Oh, wasn't it?
Enough time.
No, I heard it was being pushed back till next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last I heard, like, it might not happen in 2020. Like, it might happen in January or something. They literally gonna get this dude a whole year to train and rematch, dude.
Yeah, and it's gonna be like, and Fury has all the momentum right now. Like Fury, I mean, I think all of us are confident now. There's no ifs now. Like Wilder will, that Fury probably has Wilder's number. I mean, when you beat someone, literally beat someone two different ways.
With two different trainers.
Yeah, exactly. There's no what ifs with me now. It's like, Wilder had two good opportunities to actually try to knock Fury out, and he didn't do it. And especially with this move, I don't think he's gonna do it. In fact, I think he's probably gonna take a worse beating.
Damn, is that possible? Like, we gonna get a new poll off of this Wilder trilogy? Like, would you rather get 12 blank but score a knockdown, or get 7 blank and get knocked out? Like,
yeah, and it's also weird too because now, I mean, with also this fight, Wilder's legacy is on the line as well too. Because like I said, basically when you knock out all these fighters, and unfortunately, not all of them, but 95% of them aren't really what you call high level knockouts,
they don't do nothing else afterwards.
Right.
So the victories have no legs.
Yeah. So basically, it's like, I mean, like if he loses to Fury now, I mean, Wilder's gonna have to really knock out. Not even just. He's gonna have to find someone else who has juice in that division, and knock them out. And he has to score a couple of them to actually get that back because, literally, if he loses this fight,
he'll retire before that happens. Like, they're not gonna. Nah.
Yeah, no, it's
he ain't gonna make the money he want to make with the type of dudes they'll have them get. Like,
facts.
Yeah, no, Wilder. Yeah, there's a lot riding on Wilder, and
it's a fucking career, nigga, legacy, everything.
Legacy, shot of the title, or at least to get his title.
Message board arguments.
Yeah.
the Twitter battles, all of that shit's on the line. Like YouTube fights, like.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, obviously we're not stupid. Like, we know the American heavyweight is, they've been trying to find an American heavyweight, and of course, like I said before, boxing loves its white American heavyweight. That's gold in this sport. If it's not that, it's white American fighters in any other division. If it's not that, then you go to the black fighters. I mean, it's sad to say, but that's really what it is. Regardless, people want American representation at heavyweight because a lot of them it's not. I mean, pretty much the top heavyweight contenders are not American.
Yeah, it's like the United Nations up there.
Yeah.
And young big baby ain't really ready just yet. I mean,
no, not at all. He has some time, and then you have your Charles Martins who are.
Floating around.
They're floating around, and if he ever wins another title again, I will be completely surprised. Just like I was surprised the first time he won the title.
Shit, but it would have been better if Wilder would have fought a guy like Charles Martin than some of the dudes he was fighting.
That's facts. That's real facts. So I mean,
shit, like they not using Charles Martin good at PBC. Like, they could have ran it back with him and Kanaki, and look, they went this whole Robert Helenius, and then what happened?
Yeah,
his shit wrecked, ruined. Yeah. And what has happened with Kanaki? I haven't heard his name since.
Yeah, neither have I. I think he doesn't have a fight coming up or nothing like that. I mean,
are we gonna check the Phantom Zone?
Yeah, that was
with the Nether Realm. Like,
I mean, that was a huge fuck up. Yeah,
low key, that was one of the worst beatings this year. Honestly, like honestly, that gets forgotten. Like, I know we've been on this whole 12-0 blank, but the ass whooping Kalnaki got, man, I think that's worse than.
Yeah, well, I mean, considering who he lost to, like, I mean, someone that got bodied by Gerald Washington.
I was gonna say, how do you lose to the leftovers of the nigga that you beat? Like,
yeah.
You lose by knockout, and it's brutal. Like, he kept dropping him, hitting the same punch over and over. Like,
yeah, no.
Damn, like.
Yeah, so I mean, the heavyweights it's a mixed bag right now. American representation is not as high as it used to be, and there's not, and like I said, the prospects are not ready, and are not ready to really challenge for the titles yet. So, so that's where Wilder's, pretty much a lot of Wilder's rep and everything comes from. So yeah, what?
I mean,
I think that.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, who would you think Wilder should work with?
I mean, I would say, go to Kronk too, but they probably, that'll be like a big conflict of interest.
Nah, that ain't happening.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it's unrealistic, bro.
Yeah, I mean, basically, has to be.
I know Floyd kept saying he could train him.
The thing with Floyd though is like, to train with Floyd and someone like that, you need extended time, and I don't think Wilder has that type of time. Certainly not this time. Like I
think he needs extended time with anybody decent.
Basically, he needs someone that actually seems to be a little bit more. First of all, to use a jab, and to actually be more, more offensive, not just to use a jab to set up a right hand or whatever fucking right hand that he likes to throw. Like, so it has to be someone that can vary his offensive attacks.
But hold on, extended time. Like, the fight look like it might not come in January. It's October. Nigga, like, give me 3 months and I'm changing a motherfucker for real. But I think it's the whole environment has to facilitate that change. Like,
yeah, and
Floyd wouldn't go where he's at and train him. No, bring your ass to Vegas.
Well, and then also you have JD's over there, who's like, if Wilder was serious, then Wilder would have gotten rid of JD's too in the sub. But Wilder is not shaking up his camp; he's just shaking up. Basically, he's getting rid of the person who he's scapegoating as why he lost. That's pretty much.
Yeah. And I didn't think if he wanted to just be on some keep it real shit, and like, look, JD's, he's been there from the beginning, but hey, I gotta elevate. It's my career on the line, not yours. When Wilder retired, no one's gonna give a fuck about a JD. Is no one's gonna remember, dude. Mm-hmm. I would have just said, look, man, I'll reduce your salary. You stay in your gym, be in the second set of eyes, whatever. But I gotta get a new first head coach. Mm-hmm. Then I could respect that. But then maybe that's not something they could work. So
yeah, no, it's gonna be. It's gonna be. Like, I would say. I mean, it depends. Okay, I'd say maybe go to Buddy or something like that, or
Buddy McGirt be nice.
Yeah,
he don't take that shit.
Might actually do wonders in trying to rehab him at least because Buddy does do a good job with with offensive fighters.
But you also, make sure you box too, like.
Yeah, and pretty much what the best thing that Buddy did, was extend Terragotti's career when it was getting to the point where dude was getting into way too many wars. He made a very offensive fighter use his actual boxing skills, which he was had, and then Gotti had probably one of the best little streaks of his career, on some boxing shit.
What about Kevin Cunningham?
Yeah, he might be too gangster, too hard for Wilder, but yeah, I think that'd be good. I think that'd be good because Kevin Cunningham don't take no shit, bro.
No, he doesn't.
Actually, no, never mind. I just realized he was one of the biggest criticizers of Wilder for the excuses that he was making with the body suits and all of that. So yeah, he's not gonna take that.
But see, somebody like a Wilder needs that. Like, it comes to some point where, man, some people need tough love.
They do.
And Wilder, I think for the sake of his career, somebody close needs to tell him that. And shit, maybe his wife could pillow talk that nigga and be like, hey, man, I don't need to see you be getting your ass whooped like this, man. You gotta get you some real niggas in that fucking gym with you.
Yeah, but this is what happens though when someone is one-dimensional. When you do something like that for a long period of time, it's hard to change it. And you have to, and he has to, and I think he knows he has to, but his ego will not let him change. And
hold on, wait. Trinidad is supposed to be one-dimensional. What Wilder is like one trick
pony. Yeah.
Because I mean, a dimension is something that kind of handles everything in that realm, but it can't really necessarily go to another plane or another realm or another level. It can handle every situation on this level, or like all of these circumstances that's brought forth in this way. He can handle it. Like that's what I look at as one dimensional. Like, but Wilder is not even that. It's more like I could do one thing real good or pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna say pretty good. I ain't gonna say fucking real good. It always looks real good when you had a type of competition obliging your ass.
Yeah.
You know, if your best opponent is Ortiz, which, you know, he's a decent contender, you know, top 10 dude, and I mean that's not really saying a lot. Stavern too, like. And they're literally the same type of fighter. One guy's southpaw, the other guy's conventional. They both counter punchers that are kind of slow and, you know, move like, you know, plumbers and shit. It just one of them has the Cuban school of boxing behind him. The other guy has the Haitian school of boxing. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm calling it down the line real shit. So
yeah.
And it ain't too much. I mean, shit, I think Floyd can help the dude, but I don't think dude gonna gel with Floyd like that, because, you know, you gotta have a special type of character to damn deal with certain types of teachers and insight.
Right.
Like, and
I mean, listen, he's already spoken out against Floyd. I can't see that one.
Yeah.
But shit, if he was humble, because that's what it take at this point now. It takes a certain point of humility to understand your limits and what you could do to surpass them. And I don't think he has that in him.
Yeah, well, I mean, a nigga that's making 1,001 excuses over taking an L isn't exactly glowing with humility.
Yeah, no, and then the fun thing with news you hear about Wilder is, you know, Wilder say Wilder's in physical shape. So fucking what? You know, he's always been in shape. Like, dude's. I mean, with the except, I mean, he doesn't come to the ring fat or anything like that. I mean, he comes in like super lean. You know, like one of the old school heavyweights. You know, pre-80s and shit like that. You know, so yeah, I mean, him being in physical shape is a no-brainer. Like, that's what he does. You know, but where's the video? Where's the video of him doing some drills? Where's sparring videos?
I don't even think he be in shape like that. It's just when you look at the type of competition he fighting, he just has to be a little bit more in shape than them, so he can move around and set up the damn proton cannon he got. And that's it, because a lot of videos you see him training, it don't seem like he's training hard. Don't seem like
it's not
always bullshitting and twerking.
Well, it's not that. It's the more interesting thing is the sparring videos. There's not a whole lot of Wilder sparring videos on there. Like, the videos that are on there, you know,
are not good for him.
Yeah, they're not good for him. Like, I mean, hey is one thing, but there's another sparring video of him when, you know, dude, where he was facing I can't never pronounce the dude's name. It's like Philip HRR. It's HRGOVIC. I always forget how to pronounce his last name. You know, but he's basically a top heavyweight prospect. But at the time of the sparring, he was like 19 years old, and he was giving Wilder the business.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think was that the one I posted in the chat? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
He was whooping Wilder's ass.
Yeah, and that wasn't a pro. That was an amateur doing that. It was, you know, with David Haye in, you know, outside the ring and shit like that.
David Haye was whooping Wilder's ass.
Yeah. So it's just like, I mean, yeah. Wilder has a lot of has a lot of flaws. Like, he has a lot of shortcomings. That his power has, you know, has God-given power that's gotten him as far as he did. But eventually it's starting to meet his match, because God forbid if Fury does it. Like, I mean, there's some other prospects that could probably do some damage too down the line. And
man, you might could find some niggas on the YMCA gym that could damn put hands on Wilder.
Mm-hmm. You know, so like Wilder's not spring chicken. Like, the stuff that we're talking about, changes he needs to make, he should have done it like 5 years ago. You know, something like
now
that.
Now it's gonna get harder because his body's breaking down. He's always having injuries with the biceps and the shoulder.
maybe wonder about the whole steroid shit with that, because remember his brother was on that shit, and then his body's always breaking down and he's always getting a bicep injury. So how much training is he really doing in camp? Like, but he's supposed to be always in shape. Like, I don't know, it just a lot of shit just look funny in the light over at Wilder camp. I'm just be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe how hard he's really training, son. Like, nah.
Yeah, like I said, that's why I was like years ago when I was just like, wait a minute, hold up, something's off about this cat, how he's fighting. Like, something's not right, you know. And it's just like, you know, the funny thing too is like Wilder at par some point could have actually become game decent if he made these changes years ago. But yeah, at this point, he is who he is right now. Doesn't mean he's
to do a whole rehaul. I mean, like just a whole breakdown and rebuild him up type shit.
Yeah, no, but yeah, like I said, you know, at 35 and he's already stinking rich. You know, it's
finally.
Only, yeah, you know, it's not going to be, you know, I just don't see him actually doing that type of, you know, making that type of sacrifice. And Lord knows he needs to. But like I said, I mean, if he cares a lot about his legacy, you know, he really should shake up his camp now. You know, so now that the fight is not officially set just yet. So,
and you can tell, like Wilder, his whole camp, everything, he comes off as a guy who people saw potential in and saw how, look, if we market him a certain way or you know, promote him a certain way, and you know, we just kind of maximize his strength by getting the right opponents and everything, and just being, you know, super careful with him, we have a gold mine.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what basically what Golden Boy was doing for years. I mean, the dude is a bronze medalist, you know. So, yeah.
So, I mean, how many times you got to be careful with somebody who has an Olympic medal, like, yeah, and who's had the type of training and around the sparring he's had. He's been in camp with Klitschko, Dylan White. Hey, like, dude, like, come on, like, he's been around like dream situations for boxers. Like, you can't tell me you're not learning something in the gym with all those dudes.
You know, I mean, so
think about it. It's something where I think he finally he went back to Alabama. You know, dude started. You know, he got a regularized trainer, the JDs, and they seen his limitations, and they just coddled him and fed him up with the whole, man, you hit harder than Ernie Shavers, nigga. You hit harder than Foreman that just ate a Mike Tyson. You hit harder than, you know, the Predator gun, or you hit harder than, like, and it's just they created a monster. But when it came time to roll the dice on that Joshua fight and take 120 mil or whatever the fuck type of the zone money these niggas was throwing out, they wouldn't gamble on it. Yeah. And they would have probably been better off gambling on that than the damn Tyson Fury fight. But the whole coddling and the path of least resistance got them. They said, you know what, let's take the guy who, you know, just came back looking trash. He's a baser, whatever, depressed, drunk, whatever the fuck, druggy, you know, let's take this guy instead. Not the, you know, the swole ass built up Nigerian, you know, powerhouse. Nah, we don't want him. Even though there was a good chance they could have landed that right hand and knocked the fuck out of Joshua, they didn't want to take that chance. And here's what you have after all of that. But he did finally make his good money with the Tyson Fury rematch, so it's probably impossible to get him back to that hunger when he's been coddled and they created a monster, and now the monster's gotten money. Nah. It'll take a motherfucker with more money to be
yeah. I mean, really,
to trade him.
It all depends if Wilder looks deep in himself and is okay, you know, how am I gonna be remembered? Am I gonna be remembered for being derailed by someone coming off a drug and alcohol and mental illness binge, or am I going to be remembered by at least taking, you know, a leading heavyweight 0? You know, and then some. You know, so I mean, that's the type of question that he has to answer. Will he answer it? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a no from me.
Yeah,
same.
You know, and if Fury really wants to be on some fuckery shit, he can hire Breland for his camp. And if he ever does that, then there's no way in hell do I see Wilder winning that fight. Not even close.
Damn, but I think Breland's such a stand-up dude. I think he would refuse it.
Agreed.
Yeah, but in this case, like, it'll be justified. If he did it, I'm like, well,
of course it'd be justified, but I think like Breland's a dude. Like I never even seen a picture of him angry.
Yeah,
and I don't even know this dude or around these people like that.
Like imagine while they're trying to hire fucking Davidson. That's not happening.
Ooh, yeah, that's not happening. Yeah. And they probably could give this man a stack straight up. The whole they probably could give him like some good money straight up front, like on some here, man. But that's the thing. It's like, Ben Davis is good, but I mean, Sugar Hill, man, like I don't know.
Yeah, Sugar. Let's say when Fury went to the Kronk, basically Fury, he did what he had to do. Fury saw the weakness in his own game and whether against Wilder, and he's like, okay, you know what? I can't afford to have these type of nights, so I have to.
I can't afford this shit to go to the cards with these blind ass fucking judges and these PBC draws. That's what it was. It wasn't more. He knew. I mean, look, anybody with two boxing eyes and a dick not in their mouth could have seen that Fury won that shit clean and clear.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the two knockdowns, but even though some people, there was certain swing round what, motherfucker, like what?
Yeah.
So he take it out the judge's hands and look, he became even bigger star.
Oh man,
Knockouts for life, like KOs for life, like my man Thurman say.
Oh man, yeah, Wilder and this, like, so yeah, stay tuned for Wilder and see what happens next, and as we get to the third and final fight in that trilogy with Tyson Fury.